Hello students, this is Miss Dalton and this video is over the absolute value parent function. So what is a parent function? A parent function is the most basic function of a particular type of graph. It is without transformations. So in the last unit we talked about transformations and how you have that basic function, and then when you start multiplying the x by a number or adding something to the x or adding or subtracting something onto the end of it, those are all transformations. But before those numbers come into play, the parent function is just the basic function before all of that happens. So when we're talking about the absolute value parent function, what are the reference points for that function? The reference points are 2 to 3, well, really it's 3 to 4 points that you can graph to see the picture. Now, normally we use, we'll start and we'll use the x values. X equals, let's say, like -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And so, sometimes we'll use the -2 and 2. Sometimes we just use -1, 0, and 1 to determine what those reference points are. So let's look over here at what the absolute value function is going to look like and what these actual points are. So the absolute value parent function is this right here. F of x equals the absolute value of x. Now, in your interactive notebook, I've gone ahead and I've placed these dots here, and so we're going to go ahead and fill out this table based on the parent function f of x equals the absolute value of x. We're going to fill out what these reference points are. So if I plug in a -1 for x, that's going to go right here. So I'm going to do f of x and if I'm plugging in that -1, then I'm just going to take the absolute value of -1. Well, the absolute value of -1 is 1, and so therefore my y value when it's -1 is 1. And in just a minute, let me go ahead and move that to the top. Right now it's center justified, so let me just go ahead and move that up so that we can see it. All right, so in that first, when we plug in a -1, we get a 1 for y. Now, if I take the absolute value of 0, well, the absolute value of 0 is just 0, so I would get a 0 for my y. Then if I take the absolute value of 1, the absolute value of 1 is 1. And so these are my 3 reference points for the absolute value parent function. So now let's go ahead and let's take these points and let's actually drag them to their correct spot. So -1, 1 would go right here. 0, 0 would go right here. And then 1, 1 would go here. Whoops, let's move that down. So it would look like this. Go ahead and move that one over just a tad. Okay, so this is what our 3 reference points look like. So now, as I draw my line, right, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to extend it out this way. And then if I connect the other side, it's going to look like this. So you can see that your absolute value parent function, well, all absolute value functions are going to make this V, okay? Now, what is a vertex, and does the absolute value function have a vertex? Well, a vertex is really the point of symmetry. So you can see that where those two rays come together, that is your vertex. Okay, so it's this right here. Let me get a different color. This point right here is your vertex. Okay, again, it is the point of symmetry, so each side around that vertex is symmetrical. Okay, now in absolute value, and actually any function, we always call our vertex h comma k. So you're going to see that, like, if I had to move this function to the left, right, up, and down, you can see that that vertex is going to move with it. And so therefore, whichever direction you have to move, left and right, that's your h value. And then whatever direction you have to move up and down, that's your k value. And so your vertex is always going to be the hk. What shape does the absolute value parent function make? It makes a V. And then list two other points that you know are on the graph that are not the reference points. Well, we could use the point -2, +2, right? Because the absolute value of -2 is +2. We could also use the point 2, 2, because the absolute value of 2 is 2. So that's 2 points. You can use any 2 points that you want. Now let's practice what the domain is. So this is from the last unit. What is the domain? Well, if I'm just going to type it up, then I might just say all real numbers. Because remember, the domain is from the left side of the graph over to the right side of the graph. And you can see the left side of the graph over to the right side of the graph moved, the left side of the graph to the right side of the graph, it goes on forever. Now, I need to move these up, but, well, you're not going to be able to see them right now. Okay, now, if I'm going to write this as in interval notation, that's going to look like this. -infinity, comma, +infinity. So you're going to see that as we're moving forward now, and we're just writing our domain and range in whatever notation we want to, you're going to see that I'm going to use interval notation or inequality. I kind of use both of them, but you'll probably never see me use set. Okay, now the range. The range is at the bottom of the graph up to the top. Now you have to keep in mind that I'm going to go ahead and erase this here because this has moved, right? Probably should have done it here. Let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Hang on. There we go. That looks better. I put the lines back on that absolute value function. Okay, so the range is from the bottom of the graph up to the top of the graph. And so if I write it as as in inequality, then I would say it's all the y values that are greater than or equal to. So I'm going to just put the equal to symbol right there. It's greater than or equal to 0. Now, it's obviously easier for me to write it in interval notation, but because I'm going to have to use infinity, I'm just going to write it. Okay, so for interval notation, it would start at 0, but it would have a bracket because it's got a closed circle there. And then it goes all the way up to infinity. So sorry about my handwriting being terrible. And then infinity is always a parenthesis. Okay? All right, does the graph open up or down? Well, obviously looking at it, it opens up. Now, but keep in mind, if I put a negative out front, that's going to make it reflect over the x-axis, so that would make it move down. So basically, if your a value is positive, then it's going to open up, and if your a value is negative, it's going to open down. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Now, when you come to class, we're going to do an interactive activity so that we can actually see what happens when we add on those transformation pieces.